What if the people who matter the most are the ones we notice the least? This story may feel simple, but stay with me. It might change how you see people forever. If stories like this move you, follow for more. And when you're done reading, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment too. Who is the Daniel in your life? There was a man named Daniel. He was not loud. He was not important. At least, that's what people thought. Daniel worked in a small office on the third floor of a grey building that nobody gave a second glance. He had worked there for 11 years. 11 years of early mornings, 11 years of quiet hallways, 11 years of doing things no one asked him to do. Every morning, before the sun had fully risen, Daniel was already there. He turned on the lights, every single one, so that when people arrived, the office felt warm, ready, alive. He cleaned the desks, not because it was his job, but because he knew people think more clearly in a clean space. He arranged the files in a way that made sense. A system he had built slowly, carefully, like a man tending a garden no one else could see. No one asked him to do these things. No one told him to, but he did them anyway, quietly, every single day. When others came in, they walked past him, coat still on, coffee in hand, eyes on their phones. Some didn't greet him. Some didn't even look up. To them, Daniel was like the furniture, present, useful, invisible. If a document was missing, they didn't say, "Daniel, could you help us find this?" They said, "Where is it?" As if the files organized themselves, as if the lights turned on by magic, as if mornings just happened. Daniel never complained. He had learned long ago that complaining changes nothing if no one is listening. So he just nodded. He fixed things. He stayed late when the work demanded it, long after the last person had grabbed their bag and said goodbye to everyone, except him. Every day looked the same from the outside. Work, silence, go home, wake up. Do it again. But inside, something was slowly shifting. Not anger, not bitterness, just a quiet, persistent question that rose in his chest every evening as he turned off the lights before he left. Do I even matter here? He never said it out loud. He just carried it home, set it down beside his dinner plate, tried to sleep, and came back the next morning anyway. One evening, Daniel stayed later than usual. The last person had left without a word. The door had swung shut behind them, and the office fell completely silent. Daniel sat at his desk and did something he rarely allowed himself to do. He looked around, really looked. The desks were clean, the shelves were organized, the printer had fresh paper, the calendar on the wall had tomorrow's meetings already marked and color-coded. Everything was in its place, everything was working, and in that quiet moment, Daniel felt something both beautiful and unbearable. No one knows it's because of me. Time's not one person. He sat with that feeling for a long time. Then he turned off the lights, walked to the door, and went home. That night, Daniel sat at his kitchen table for a long time. He didn't eat. He didn't turn on the television. He just sat. And for the first time in 11 years, he asked himself a different question. Not, do I matter? But, what would happen if I just stopped? It wasn't a dramatic thought. It wasn't born of rage or revenge. It was softer than that. More like a man who has been holding a door open for strangers passing through, and finally wonders what would happen if he simply let go. So he made a decision, not a loud one, not one he announced to anyone, just a quiet, private decision, made at a kitchen table in a small apartment where no one could see him. The next morning, he didn't show up. Morning came. People arrived at the office building and found the door still locked. They stood outside in the cold, confused, shifting from foot to foot, checking their watches. Did someone call Daniel? Does anyone have his number? Silence. No one had his number saved. After 11 years, no one had thought they'd ever need it. When they finally managed to get in, the office felt different immediately. Not broken exactly, just wrong. Like a body missing something it didn't know it needed. The desks had yesterday's dust on them. The files were where people had left them last, not where they should be. The printer was out of paper. And the documents for the morning meeting, the ones Daniel always prepared the evening before, were nowhere to be found. Small things, But small things have a way of becoming big ones very quickly. By noon, the cracks were showing. By afternoon, the office was in chaos. Deadlines were missed. Clients called, frustrated. 2 meetings had to be cancelled. Someone printed an entire report on the wrong paper because no one knew how to change the settings. A setting Daniel had quietly fixed every single time without being asked. And for the first time in 11 years, they noticed. Who usually handles the client files? Daniel. Who sets up the meeting room? Daniel. Who fixes the printer when it jams? Daniel. Who stays late to make sure everything is ready for the next morning? A long pause. Daniel. The name kept coming back, again and again. Like an echo they had never heard before because they had never been quiet enough to listen. The silence in the room felt different now, not the comfortable silence of a busy office. This silence had weight. It pressed down on people's shoulders. It sat in their chests. It felt like guilt. Because it was. Days passed. Daniel still didn't come back. And slowly, the way people only understand things when they are forced to, they began to see what they had refused to see before. Daniel was not just a worker. He was not just a pair of hands that cleaned and sorted and fixed. He was the reason the whole thing worked. He was the invisible architecture of their daily lives, the foundation they had been standing on without ever once looking down. 1 week later, Daniel returned. He walked through the door the same way he always had, quietly, without announcement, just a man arriving for work. But this time, the room changed when he walked in. People looked up from their desks. Someone stood, then another person, a small thing, but enormous. Daniel, we're glad you're back. We didn't realize. We didn't understand how much you... Words failed some of them. That too felt right. Some things are too large for easy sentences. One woman, who had worked beside Daniel for 6 years without ever learning the name of his hometown, walked over and simply said, "I'm sorry. I should have seen you." Daniel looked at her, and he smiled. Not a performance of a smile, not relief or triumph, just a small, calm, deeply human smile. The smile of a man who has been seen after a very long time of being invisible. Because here is what Daniel knew, sitting at his kitchen table that night a week ago. He didn't leave to punish anyone. He left because even the quietest hearts need to know they matter. And sometimes the only way to find out is to step back from the door and see if anyone notices the cold. You don't always see the value of something until it's gone. Look around your life right now. There is someone like Daniel. There is someone who shows up before they have to. Someone who fixes things without being asked. Someone who makes your day easier in ways so small, so consistent, that you stop noticing them the way you stop noticing the air you breathe. They don't complain. They don't ask for applause. They don't remind you of what they do. They just keep showing up, day after day, quietly carrying things you don't even know are being carried. Don't wait until they're gone. Don't wait until the door is locked and the files are missing and the silence feels wrong, to finally understand what they meant to you. Tell them today. See them today. A word, a moment, a genuine thank you, times it costs you nothing. And to them, it might mean everything. Because the most important people in our lives are rarely the loudest ones in the room. They are the quiet ones, the ones who never ask to be noticed, the ones who simply, faithfully show up. See them before they disappear. Times. This story was written for every Daniel out there, and for everyone who has ever been one. If it moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Follow for more stories that make you stop and think. Share this with someone who needs to read it today. Comment below. Who is the Daniel in your life? Tell them, right now. Even in the comments, the quiet ones deserve to be seen. Start here.